Hello, hello, hello. Hi, welcome to Everything Magic and Mundane, Season 2, Episode 1. Yay! Claps, 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 claps. Wow, Season 2. Well, if you're thinking or asking me about Season 1, I don't know where it is. I recorded Season 1 a few years ago, around I guess 2019 ish or 2021. I'm not sure. But I recorded season 1 with gusto, with excitement, around 8 episodes. And then, well, things happened. I got discouraged because I wasn't getting views. Yeah, all of that, all of those stories and information for some other time. Long story short, I recorded that, and back then I had low self esteem. I was working on myself. I felt really discouraged and demotivated because of the views. I associated my self esteem, my worth, with the number of views that I had on the podcast, and therefore, I deleted all the episodes from the platform that I posted on. I deleted it from my Google Drive, and yes, I guess it's sad to say I may have completely deleted the episodes forever. I do pray that by stroke of luck, somehow I find the copy of these 8 episodes someday in my laptop or hard drive somewhere, stashed in some folder in some corner of my drives. Let's see. Yep. Back to everything magic and mundane. I love psychology. I am a psychologist and I've done my bachelor's and master's in psychology. I also love spirituality. I am a healer. I am a spellcaster and I do varied number of things. Since I love both these subjects immensely, both these categories, topics, whatever you want to call it, I thought let's find the middle ground. Let's see where these two intersect. What do these two mean? What do these two imply? And how can I live and embody their concepts, their lessons, their wisdom? Thus, everything magic and mundane was born. This is how it came into existence. And since we are talking about existence, well, our first episode is about health. Yes, health. I guess with the increase in awareness about health, mental health specifically, emotional health, and fitness, we see people who are being proactive, who are taking responsibility, and who have started working on themselves. At the same time, I also see that people have glamorized this to an extent and are also looking for multi-purpose one solution fit alls or at least most, and something which is quick. I know, I understand it. We are now living in a world where we receive things on our fingertips. I place an order today and I receive it tomorrow, or rather in 12 hours. And we have started receiving instant feedback, instant response, instant reaction for everything that we do. ChatGPT, we post something, we ask a query, and within, excuse me, within a few minutes we receive the solution, we receive the answer, which would have taken us days or weeks or months earlier. Because of all of this overstimulation, we are now kinda sort of tired of struggling, of waiting, of patience. The word patience, it irks. Trust me, it irks me as well. I have started noticing how even in a 30 seconds shot, I just fast forward to the end to see what the video was about, especially when the creator is talking in a roundabout way and the creator's like, watch till the end, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I am watching the end. That is what is happening with me right now. I guess you understand what I'm saying, right? You relate with it because I'm sure this is happening with most of us right now. So I realize that because we have glamorized this to an extent, we want to skip the hard parts and straight up jump to the result, straight up jump to the destination, skip the journey, skip the building of resilience. And we forget the whole purpose, the reason behind this journey, what this journey entails, what this journey entails, and how it builds our character, our personality as we reach the destination. 555 angel number when I say this. Wow. I absolutely love seeing angel numbers whenever I share an information because it's a confirmation, it's a synchronicity for me in real time, in the moment, that yes, I am aligned, I'm on the right path, and I am understanding, decoding, processing the things that are aligned to my path right now. Okay. Back to what I was saying. In this whole journey of regulating ourselves, regulating our nervous system, our emotions, working on ourselves, working on our self-worth, esteem, everything builds our strength, our courage. This back and forth, this push and pull is what builds our character. It builds our foundation. It makes us strong enough to reach the end, to continue till the end, to stop giving up in between or midway, to see things through. I know. For someone who's in the beginning of the process, who's not even started the journey, or who's starting the journey, is going to find this information very triggering. And or someone who's midway is going to find this very triggering because you're right now at a place wherein you're exhausted, you're tired, you're triggered, you're angry at yourself, you're angry at the world, and you're facing so much within yourself, or maybe some of you are denying it, suppressing it so much within yourself, the shame, the guilt, the denial, the disappointment, the sadness, the betrayal, the abandonment, all of it that you're suppressing within yourself, or some of you are facing. It's a journey. I know, I've been there, done that. It's taken me 6 years to reach this point wherein I am confidently sharing what I feel, what I think, and respecting my thoughts as well as respecting other people's thoughts. And listen carefully, I said thoughts, I didn't say opinion. Opinion is steadfast, it's hard fast, it's something that's set in stone. But a thought is something that's changing, something that's flowing, and something that's flexible. And since we're talking about thoughts, I am starting the topic with our first category, mental health. Yes, thoughts are flexible, which is why it's called monkey mind, which is why meditation and people talk about detachment. They talk about letting the thoughts flow, not getting attached to it, not paying much attention to it, and just simply looking at it from an observer point of view, from a third person perspective or a second person perspective. Which is also why mental health, or taking care of yourself mentally, requires you to utilize the energy in the same way. Hear me out. The first example is journaling. But before we go into the examples and how you can better take care of your mental health better, let's understand what mental health is all about. or what does taking care of yourself mentally mean? Okay. As I said, thoughts are flowing. So thoughts are energy in free form. They don't have shape or size, they aren't tangible, they don't have a concrete structure. Which is why the moment you just have a thought, it's called intrusive thought, right? You just have a thought and you have the urge to do it, and then you let it go if you have not acted upon it. Or sometimes the thought is persistent, it comes and goes. All of this is just mental energy. It just exists there in your brain. And the more you think thoughts, the more the energy accumulates. This is how overthinking happens, which in turn results into anxiety, stress, which results, and in severe cases it might result into panic attacks or anxiety attack. If I have to summarize, if I have to explain to you, make you understand in one sentence, it's all an accumulation, an excess accumulation of mental energy. And when you start releasing this energy from yourself, from your brain, from your body, automatically you start regulating it because you're bringing it into balance. And this is where journaling comes in, which was the first example that I mentioned. That because when you start journaling, and which is also why journaling is effective, because you are releasing all of that energy, all of that excess energy onto paper, onto books, and you're allowing it a space to exist because it's important, right? Otherwise it wouldn't be in your mind and your body in the first place. So you're allowing it a space to exist, as well as freeing yourself from these entanglements and attachments. You're freeing yourself from tethering to it. In spiritual terms, I'm going to say tethering. In layman terms, I'm going to say attachment. Whatever helps you understand the concept better. So it frees you from all these entanglements. It frees you from tethering to these thoughts and then just staying in the air. Mental energy is also air. Thoughts are air, right? Which is why during meditation you find it difficult, because the thoughts come and go, you're unable to catch it. At the same time, they are right in your face. So, they are in your awareness, and when you focus too much on it, you start tethering to it. Yeah, it's a whole this complex stuff that happens. Coming back to our topic. So first and foremost, if you are focusing on your mental health, start by giving all those thoughts a place to exist. Some people journal. Some people who have more resources, time, energy, they go to a therapist and they give those thoughts a place in the sessions. You do you, whatever you can do right now. If this is what I always suggest as a therapist, that the easiest and the simplest way, the simplest solution is a book. Just start journaling 3 pages every single day. And if you want to know more about it, read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It has always is and will be, I guess, will be for sure, one of my favorite books which help mental health. In fact, it helps in every aspect, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, because it has the capacity to awaken the inner creative within you. Back to this. Start journaling. As you start journaling, you are also listening to your voice. You have now begun to listen to yourself. You are listening to the things that you like, the things that you dislike, things that irk you, what you believe in, everything. And as you listen to yourself, your intuition strengthens. Your inner voice increases. The volume of your inner voice increases. You start paying less attention to others and more attention to yourself. Right? Obviously, because that's how writing works. Your brain is fast processing your thoughts, and then your hand is matching up to the speed and writing it onto the paper. Therefore, you focus more on what exists within you instead of what's happening outside. This is why journaling is a foolproof plan. So, if you are looking for a solution which is foolproof, oh, journaling is it. I have had so many journals over the past few years, and one of my regrets is one day just tearing apart a few journals because, yeah, it's embarrassing to share the reason. I'm not going to share it, but that's one of my regrets. That why did I tear apart my journals? They were such beautiful memoirs, and they would stay with me through time, through infinity, for as long as I am alive. And there was such good memories of my journey, such excellent proofs of my journey, of where I was, what I did, and where I am now, as well as where I'm going. And as we move forward, there are several other things that you can do with respect to mental health. There are affirmations, there are visualizations, there's meditation, several things. At the same time, I get a bit skeptical. I am a bit hesitant about all of that for starters and for beginners, because if you're someone who's just into this journey and who's just working on your mental health, for you, if you directly jump into all of this, it's like you're facing a wall, because there already exists an accumulation of energy. Unless you empty out this energy, you won't have space for something new. You won't have space for new thoughts and new energy. So irrespective of how much you repeat the affirmation to yourself, or you visualize, or you meditate, or you do hypnosis, or any of it, it's going to take a time. Either it's going to be a struggle wherein you will constantly be conflicted, or it's going to take longer. And once you empty it out, once you give all of that energy a space to exist outside of you, and then you do something, you are immediately walking on a new path. You are giving your brain new information, new energy, and naturally it's going to follow the trail. And this trail is going to lead to better things, better timeline, better quantum leaps. Hence, I would suggest, if you're taking care of your mental health, start with journaling. For some people who don't have the privacy wherein they can sit and journal, I suggest to audio record themselves. Just open a voice recorder like I am right now recording this podcast on a voice recorder, and simply sharing my thoughts. Similarly, just start sharing your thoughts. You can voice record and send messages to yourself on WhatsApp or Google Keep, whatever, or Telegram, wherever you see fit, whatever works out for you, whatever you're used to. Start audio recording yourself. Even while speaking, sharing, and then listening to yourself, this whole thing helps you be aware of your inner voice. It helps you listen to how you speak to yourself, how you talk to yourself, what you feel about things, what excites you, where your voice increases the tone, the pitch, and where it decreases, where you get emotional, what is really bothering you. All of it. It'll give you signs, it'll give you breadcrumbs to follow. And as we're talking about mental health, this leads us to the next topic, which is emotional health. Because the more you work on your mental health, the more you decode your thoughts, listen to your thoughts, understand your thoughts, it's going to start giving rise to emotions. Yep. Because now you'll start feeling the emotions associated with those thoughts. So if you realize that you were angry with something or with someone, this will naturally, instinctively, psychologically, logically going to arouse the emotion anger within you. or irritation, frustration, depending on wherever you are on the spectrum, depending on how your temperament is. It is going to bring forth emotions and feelings within you. Therefore, once you've started working on your mental health, the next step that comes is emotional health, processing these emotions. And oh boy, oh girl, oh women, when we talk about emotions, all logic goes through the window, or at least in the beginning. Because emotions are all about feeling it. You cannot think your way through emotions unless you have processed it first. Trust me, it won't happen. That's not how it works. Yeah, it just not. If you start, which is why often people get stuck at this point, because they're like, I've worked on my thoughts, I've worked on my mental health, but these emotions, and I'm still crying, or I'm getting angry, or this is happening with me, this guilt, shame, and everything. What's happening? I know my perspective has changed, I've evolved, I've outgrown the patriarchy, I have moved forward. Then why am I still stuck with shame, guilt, self-loathing, criticism? Buddy, it's because you haven't processed your emotions. And emotions don't work like the brain. You cannot think your way through emotions. Trust me, I have done that. I am an empath. I am a neurodivergent. I am a spiritual healer. I am all these wonderful, beautiful labels, things, tags, whatever you want to call it. I'm all of these different shades of my personality, and I used to feel a lot without boundaries, without regulation, and therefore I would constantly want to think my way through my emotions, because living those emotions, feeling those emotions, expressing those emotions would be scary. It would be too much, it would be overwhelming, that I would want to dissociate. I would dissociate, and I would want to stay up in the air. I would just want to stay in my thoughts. I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to face the betrayal I felt in that moment when this person gaslit me. I didn't want to face the abandonment when this person didn't choose me. I didn't want to face um, the I didn't want to face the guilt when I hurt this person uh, for my selfish reasons. And I mean this in a way wherein I have hurt that person, not in a way wherein I sacrificed myself, but in a way that I hurt that person for my selfish reasons, and I didn't need to do that. I could have handled it much better. And yes, now I think about it, I feel I could have handled that much better. At the same time, I understand, love, and respect my younger self, because she did what she thought was the best, right? And she made those mistakes, and I learned from those mistakes now. Again, on this some other day. Yes. Also, yes, your mental health teaches you that mistakes are okay. That mistakes are how you grow. On the contrary, as much as we think and we wish that we have a peaceful journey, a successful journey, without obstacles, without blocks, without failure, without feeling like a failure, without making mistakes, as much as we all want to be perfect. Yep, perfection is a myth. Sometimes, most of the times. And yeah, yes, you are going to make mistakes. You made mistakes in the past, you are making mistakes now, and you'll make mistakes in the future. Yes, with time you're going to change the intensity of your mistakes, the consequences of your mistakes, the pressure, the results of your mistake. All of this will change, because that's how you'll mature, that's how you'll grow, and you'll become wiser, stronger, smarter. This is what I meant by the grit, by the grind, that this journey of working on yourself, working on your health, is what builds your character. Because I faced those mistakes, and I'm grateful for my younger self. I'm grateful that she chose to face these mistakes back then, even when it was overwhelming, even when it was difficult, challenging, on the verge of tears, giving up, all of this. And I still faced it. I faced it, and I realized that yes, what I did was wrong, or what the other person did was wrong. And I learned my wisdom in both scenarios from both cases, and I moved forward. This has made me stronger today. This has made me a person with boundaries today, with a regulated nervous system today. So work through your emotions, trust me. Believe me, someday you're gonna thank yourself like I am thanking myself right now. I am happy that my younger self went through with season 1, even through the nerves, even through the self esteem issues, doubts, imposter syndrome, everything, she still went through it. I am immensely happy and grateful for her that she took that first step. I hope and wish, pray that you feel this as well someday. That as you work on yourself, you feel this gratefulness someday for your younger versions. Apart from the anger, the sadness, the betrayal towards yourself, you also feel happiness. You feel happiness for your younger self because she, he, they, them made certain decisions. Oh my god, choices. Let's go with choices. I don't know. I can't pronounce the word decisions right now. See, I just pronounced it. Oh my god. Anyway, so they made certain choices and they took certain actions which led you to a better timeline, which led you to better choices and actions. So on and so forth. Now, how can you work on your emotions? Because yes, it is overwhelming, right? Now, emotional healing and physical healing is they are tied together because in the end everything is energy, right? Whether it's mental healing, emotional healing, physical healing, or spiritual healing, everything is energy. And once you understand how this particular energy moves, you have better control, you take responsibility, and you're able to regulate yourself better. If mental health is air, emotional healing is like water. You feel overwhelmed because all of that emotions is now stagnant, it's stuck, right? It's like muddy, murky, dirty water. It exists, and so you need to clean all of that out. You need to throw it out, puke it out, just get it out of your system, and automatically you'll make space for clear water, for healthy emotions, or you responding to your emotions in a healthy way. Now, how can we do this? You can work through your emotional issues or through your emotions by either physically moving, which is why I said they are tied. You can move your body because this allows the energy to move. This allows the water to move. You can do yoga, exercising, dancing, which is why people love gym, right? Because when they go to gym, they start working on themselves. They are moving all those emotions. They are giving those emotions a direction, a way. And it shows. It gives an outlet to these emotions. Once they found their outlet and they're out of your system, you start losing all of that energetic weight. You lose all of those emotional entanglements and you make space for something better, which is why exercise and fitness works beautifully. It works wonders, and it will always be a priority for people, because simply exercising even for 15 minutes a day, moving your body for 15, and I'm saying 15 minutes minimum. Ideally it's 30 minutes if you want to stay at your optimal condition, optimal health. Even if you start with 15 minutes, you will notice that with time your energy has simply changed. It changes drastically and you will notice that there's a difference in yourself. The other things that I see works incredible for emotions are aromatherapy, are herbs. When you work with herbs, fragrances, smells, oils, all of these also stimulate. They stimulate stimulate the energy centers, the 7 chakras in your body, which in turn allows the emotions to be processed in a healthy way. When you work on your sacral and a solar plexus, that also helps with your emotional health and physical health. Getting massages helps you move the energy from your body. Which is why lymphatic drainage again works wonders for people, because you are releasing all of that stuck stagnant energy, right? You're removing it from your body, you're giving it a direction to flow. Breathing, so there are some things that work wonders for everything. Breathing, although for starters, as I said, because you need to create space. So for starters, for beginners, unless you create space in your mental zone, in your mental health, uh, you will not be able to focus on your breathing, because you'll have just so much of energetic clutter. You'll have so much energetic clutter that you will not be able to focus on your breathing. You won't be able to meditate. Okay, coming back to emotional healing and physical healing, we have breathing exercises because they regulate your nervous system. It's included in physical healing as well as emotional healing. They regulate your nervous system and they help you breathe deeper, breathe calmer. Mindfulness is closely tied to meditation. I believe that meditation is being present in the moment, being mindful in the moment. So when you are eating food mindfully, one bite at a time, you are meditating because you're completely focused. You are concentrating on one singular task. One and singular are the same. When I listen back to this audio, I'm going to judge, which I I hope to avoid, and then work on my nuances, work on my pronunciation, on my linguistics, and get better. Okay, we had breathing exercises, we had aromatherapy, herbs, fragrances. We also have EFT. Oh, I love EFT. I did EFT for a while and it helped me. And then I've stopped doing it now. I also led a EFT group on Telegram. And oh wow, doing EFT in a group setting just I guess today's favorite words in the podcast are going to be works wonders and works excellently, because I seem to be using that for everything. Well, that's true, because that is what is happening. It works beautifully and wonderfully for all of it, for everything. EFT is where you tap certain points, which I believe is associated to acupuncture. If I remember correctly, it has some science to it, which I'm unable to recall right now. But you tap these specific body parts, these specific points on body, while affirming things. So this does multiple things. It's flowing the lymphatic drainage, as well as while you're affirming, it's creating space in your mental health. I keep saying mental health, let's say brain. It clears away the energetic clutter and it creates space for new, which is why it works excellent. And especially when you do it in a group setting, all of that energy together, psychologically, spiritually, you are together creating something incredible. The energy is excellent. One of my favorite creators back then, who loves EFT, who breathes EFT, who lives EFT, is Haley Hoffman Smith. If you know about her, hey, give me a cheers in the comments so that I know that we are fellow admirers of her. And if you don't yet, check her out. I'm no longer active on Instagram, at least right now while I'm recording the podcast. You never know about the future. Right now I'm inactive on Instagram, so I don't know what she's up to these days. But a while back, she would host these incredible EFT seminars and EFT workshops, wherein together they would choose a topic and together work through it. And 50, 100, 150, 200 people, all of that energy, imagine the abundance you're creating together. All of them releasing their scarcity, their limiting beliefs, the scarcity mindset, limiting beliefs, all of it, and making space for abundance. It's simply treasure. if she's still doing that, and if you get a chance to, definitely check her out. She is a gem, she's a treasure, and she's so beautiful as well, both inside and out. She's simply very sweet. I don't know her personally, but based on what I've observed about her and her interactions, I find her very sweet. Moving forward, so you've taken care of your mental health, you've taken care of your emotional health, physical health, and then now comes the spiritual health. Okay, for the process of this conversation, I have chosen mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. The order can change. You can start working on it all together, you can start working on it spiritually. It is not a linear equation, it is a circle. Okay, it is a square, and therefore all points are connected to each other. Every corner, every category is connected to the other, which is why when you work on one, you are automatically allowing the healing of the other. If you're working on your emotions, you're allowing your body to heal, you're losing all of that excess energetic weight, and therefore losing weight. You are taking care of your mental health, your belief system, and you're also taking care of your faith, of what you stand for, your values, your principles, your morals. You're learning what interests you, how you want to build the community, how you want to interact with the world, how you want to share, give, receive, and take energy from the world. Which is why work on whatever feels easiest to you, or easier to you, whatever you're comfortable with right now, and it is automatically going to make way for everything else. When we talk about spiritual healing has multitude ways now. We have so many options now. We have Reiki, we have crystals, we have chanting, mantras, we have Kundalini yoga, we have color therapy, we have we have angel healing, which I do. Check out the course. If it's currently in the description, the details are mentioned in the description. The next batch is starting soon. And there are multitude of ways to work with spiritual energy. Candle spells, all of it. When you talk to your angels, your spiritual guidance team, when you invoke deities, gods, gurus, goddesses, whoever it is that you believe in, that you feel called to invoke right now, that connection is what grounds you. It helps you, it heals you on a different level. Spiritual healing and emotional healing are connected to the top four chakras, the top three plus the heart chakra, which are the crown chakra, the third eye chakra, the throat chakra, and the heart chakra. It's related to that. That is, when you start working on this, you start receiving downloads. Your intuition becomes stronger. You start receiving signs, breadcrumbs. It becomes easier to surrender, to let go of things, to do things. Mental health and and physical health are related to the bottom three chakras, which are solar plexus, sacral, and root. So whether you touch your nose this way or that way, it's one and the same. Okay, by the end of this podcast, I think I need to reframe my statement. There is a one size fit. Okay, not. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna take a pause here to collect my thoughts and reframe the statement, because I'm receiving multiple downloads right now. Okay, yes, there does, since it's all interconnected, interrelated. When you work on something, you automatically work on all the other aspects, categories of your life. It is all interconnected, interrelated. At the same time, each has its own space, each has its own method, and each functions differently. You will need to work on everything at its own pace, at its own time. like air, mental health, it's something very quick and fast. So, uh, therefore, mental health is something that you can work on the fastest. Spiritual health also, it questions a lot of your belief in and your faith in the beginning. In the beginning, I would wonder if spirits exist, if energy is real, all of these questions. And I would wonder if there is really some higher power that's listening to me, even if it's myself, even if it's my own soul, if it's my higher self, does it really exist? Is there really someone who's guiding me, who's showing me the way, sending me signs and sending me breadcrumbs that, hey, Shailaja, follow this and see where it leads you, because I'm sure you're going to be happy, happier than you are right now. I would question all of this lot, and ironically, I would also pray to the same source. I would cry, I would pray that, why are you doing this to me? What's happening? Why am I going through all these cycles and situations and people and connections and relationships? The mistakes that I made when I hurt people, the mistakes others made which hurt me, all of it. Why am I going through all of this? Why can't just things be easier? And now I realize it was because it was building me. It was building my foundation. It was building my strength, my courage. It was building everything about myself, about who I am now and who I will be in the future. If I wouldn't face my shadow, my dark side, then I wouldn't have the confidence to show up here in this podcast to talk to you in an assertive manner, in an authentic voice. I wouldn't be able to share my wisdom in a grounded way because I haven't lived those lessons, because I haven't processed those lessons and learned what I needed to learn. The fact that I'm able to share information right now with you, it's because I've lived through it. It's because I've done the same things and it worked out for me, and I'm sure that if you do the same, it's going to work out for you. The intensity, the degree might matter because we are different individuals. At the same time, it's going to lead you somewhere. It's going to lead you to a better place. And on this note, I will end the podcast with a summary and a goodbye message. Okay, the summary of today's podcast is that our health, or the concept of health, is broad, is vast. The more you segregate it, identify, understand, it becomes easier to work on things. And now that you know that there are these four categories: mental health, physical health, emotional health, and spiritual health, you can now decide which area do you want to work on right now. What are you feeling called to? And you can keep adding to the list. If there's something that I haven't mentioned in this podcast which you believe would help in a certain category or certain aspect, feel free to comment below. It's probably going to help future viewers or other viewers in feeling relatable. Secondly, each category has its own pace, has its own method, direction, timing. You can choose and decide how to work around it and work with it. I always remind people that you need to work with yourself instead of against yourself. If you're having cravings, you have them for a reason. Suppressing your cravings and denying yourself the urge is gonna do nothing except harm. At the same time, when you honor yourself, honor those urges, with time you start controlling it. You start understanding the reason behind these cravings, the reason behind emotional eating. What emotions are you eating? Right? Physically, you might be eating a food, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally, what emotion are you eating in the form of a food? Yes, I know. It was a mind blowing question. This, believe me, trust me, this helped me understand myself at a deeper level. which is why I love journaling. You have these incredible prompts, and the more you journal about them, the more you answer them, it opens this Pandora box. You realize things about yourself that was just existing in your subconscious mind. Thirdly, and finally, oh, 4444. As I'm sharing this, 4444. Okay. Finally, information is control. Information is awareness. Information is the key. When you have the information, you know what to do. You know your next steps. You know where to go. If you don't have information about something, then start with finding information. If you don't find out why you emotionally eat, how will you ever work on those cravings and urges? Then you'll keep going through this endless cycle of focusing on losing weight to gaining weight, to losing weight to gaining weight. This mental torture, hassle of criticizing yourself that why am I unable to lose the weight, at the same time forcing yourself, struggling with a routine, with a regimen, and all of that whole thing. Stop fighting yourself. Start working with yourself. Start doing things that will help you work with yourself. Why else are you doing things? What's the point of doing things? What's the point of listening to this podcast if it's going to increase your anxiety? Then don't. I hope you've left the podcast midway if it has increased your anxiety. If it is helping you out, excellent. Listen, I'm so grateful that you are still with me right now, that you have heard this entire podcast and you have reached this moment. And also a reminder, it is not a rule to listen to the entire podcast in one go. Oh god, yes, I have struggled with that. I just somehow had this imaginary belief that I need to finish the entire podcast in one sitting. How can I finish 1 hour, 1.5 hour podcast when the attention span is low? Therefore, listen to this in bite-sized minutes, bite-sized pieces. Listen to it at one category at a time, or some few minutes at a time. This will help you make things process easier, faster, and digestible. So this was it for today. I hope you loved Everything Magic and Mundane Season 2 Episode 1. I am excited and I'm happy. Yeah, I also have this urge to just delete this whole episode and destroy this episode. Well, I feel embarrassed right now. I'm still going to post it. Yeah, because I've said it, so I'm going to post it. And let's see where this takes me, how this goes. I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I did, and I enjoyed recording this. I will see you in the next one. Until the next episode, take care. Bye-bye. Have an excellent day ahead. And if you would like to work with me, all the details are in the description below. Make sure to remember to check it out. Subscribe the channel. Bye-bye.